Okay. Cool. My name is Shaima. This is John. We'll be talking about obesity and ethnicity. As a group, we like to enlighten the class on 3 years of data for 3 different ethnic populations: Black, white, and Hispanic, and prevalence of obesity. We want the class to view the difference as well as views onto how to eliminate health disparities among these populations. The study was done through telephone survey, a census for 4 different regions: Northwest, Midwest, South, and West. By reading the text provided, you can look at Table 1, where it say the different regions, overall, Midwest, Northeast, Table 1, you can look at as a reference, to see the 3 racial groups and how they differ. The overall rate for obesity in white men and women are 23.7%, men 25.4%, women 21.8%. In blacks, the overall rate is 35.7%, men 31.6%, women 39.2%. Hispanic overall is 28.7%, men 27.8%, and women 29.4%. Blacks overall have a higher obesity rate. You still can look at Table 1 as a reference. Out of the aforementioned regions, the regions of the U.S. that have the highest obesity rate is the South. The lowest obesity rate was the West. The states that have the highest rate was Maine with 45%, see Table 2. Lowest was the District of Columbia with 9%. Another thing we'd like to address are the differences in behavior and cultural norms that contribute to obesity. Black and Hispanics are less likely to engage in regular physical activity because they have a bad attitude as far as exercising. They're comfortable in their own skin. They're satisfied with their bodies. They don't care typically what anybody else thinks compared to white women. Another reason is because certain populations don't have access to affordable, healthful foods and safe locations for physical activity. As I mentioned before, I was going to discuss ways to eliminate health disparities. And the CDC, which is the National Center for Chronic Disease Prevention and Health Promotion, provides funding and technical assistance to 25 states to develop their own effective obesity prevention and control programs. They fund communities to eliminate racial and ethnic disparities in health with environmental approaches, increasing access to fruits and vegetables for minority communities. The intervention strategies promoted are the participation in community-supported agriculture, delivery of fresh produce to low income, a mobile farmers market, implementing food stamp nutrition education programs. And I can specifically vouch for the mobile farmers market because my neighborhood in Clinton Hills, Brooklyn, not too far from where I live, they have a mobile farmers market, and they accept food stamps. And down the block from that farmers market is Fort Greene Projects. So it's right in the middle of a community where there is low income as well as middle income. If proper health strategies aren't taken into consideration within ethnic group, consequences are severe. The 3 consequences of obesity cited in the article we were provided with: increased healthcare costs, reduced quality of life, and increased risk for premature death. Common morbidities associated with obesity include coronary heart disease, hypertension, and stroke, type 2 diabetes, and certain types of cancer.
Good afternoon, my name is John. I'm going to be explaining 2 of the charts that was given to us for this project. So in the first page, we have a chart that that is representing the percentage of people in the U.S. who are becoming overweight. As we can see in the chart, it's the range of from 1961 to the year 2006, and we can see that the group of these people has a tremendous increase that went from a 13.4% to a 35.1%, from people of ages from 20 to 74, and that's for the bit who had the most increased people in overweight. In the second are the extremely obese people in the second page, which shows that people went from 0.9 to a 6.2%. And for last, that's the overweight people that went from a 31.5 to a 32.2%. We were asked to predict the results for overweight, obese, and extreme in the year 2012 using the linear equation from the statistics that we had, and we calculate that in the year 2012 people overweight was gonna increase to a 33.6%, and the obese were gonna increase to a 36.5%, and the extreme obese group we're gonna increase to a 6.3%. We were also were asked to calculate the year in which obese people were going to reach the 45%, and the result was in 2028. And for extreme obese, we was asked to predict when they were going to reach the 10%. It's not written there. I forgot to write it down. So for the extreme obese people, we used the 10%. We calculated the 10%. So the results was in the year 2042, where the extreme obese people were going to reach the 10%. Okay, so and that's based on the graphs on the last page too. And we used them. Okay, and we had another graph which is a diagnosis of people with diabetes from the year 1980 to the year 2008. And it also and that's based on black female, black male, white female, white male, and Asian female and Asian male. And the group that had the most increase of diabetes in those years was the black male. That went from a 4% to a 9.1%. And we were also asked to calculate the increase of people with diabetes for the year 2012 for every race. For the black female, that's the last chart in the last page. That's the black female came to be 9.5% the race, black male 9.3, white females 5.1, and white males 5.8, in Asian females 5.5, and Asian males 7.1. And also we were asked to calculate the year that these races were going to reach the 15%. So we had the results for black female in the year 2047, for black males, 2044 for white females, that's 2113, And white males, that's 2,088. Asian females for 2,056, and Asian males in the year 2040. So that's our results for the
Obesity
for the
ethnicity.
obesity and obesity and diabetes.
So could you just repeat that in your last chart here? This 15% prediction is 15% of what?
Of people with diabetes. Prediction from this year is continuing the chart.
So
So
again,
it's always gonna be an increase, as you can see. I left the linear there in the chart, and it's always increasing, so it's never gonna decrease according to our calculations. And for this we use the structure that our professor gave us using the Excel program.
or you used Excel to find
Yes.
the equation?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fairly dramatic here that again, that African American men and women seem to be
Mhm.
at a disadvantage here in terms of the numbers. It's an unfortunate thing.
Yes, it's all based off of culture as well, due to the fact that the way we cook, the ingredients we make, how often we choose to eat in our living environments. I forgot which group spoke before, but as far as like certain, like down south, the roads are limited. Sidewalks are limited, I'm sorry.
Right.
There are not many sidewalks in the south, so you drive everywhere, so there's less walking, less exercising, and so forth. Another thing I would like to mention before we conclude our project is culture definitely plays a role in our health, whether it's blacks, whites, Hispanics, whatever. How often we eat, like I mentioned before. Exercise definitely plays a major part in that, as far as, and also where we get our foods from. A lot of supermarkets nowadays are becoming green. They're offering a lot of organic produce for us to purchase. But a lot of supermarkets don't offer that. They offer fatty foods, they don't offer green products, they don't offer organic products. So it's hard for people to have access to nutritious foods. So that's why, another reason why the rate is increasing dramatically. Okay, any questions? I guess not. Thank you.